Hiya guys, welcome back to Creative Tap. I hope you guys are well. We're going to be jumping into After Effects today and I'm going to be showing you a really nice technique of animating something along a path which you guys can draw yourselves. So we're going to be animating a balloon, sort of deflating and kind of going everywhere. So let's not talk about it, let's do it, let's jump on in. Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to animate something across a path, okay? So what we've got is we've got a balloon and the balloon is deflating and it's flying around everywhere. So let's give this a little play and we'll see what we're doing. It's only 2.5 seconds long. So this is what we've got, okay? Balloon slowly deflates or very fast deflates and travels around everywhere. What I did is I drew out this path, okay, and then I sort of scaled it down over time, rotated it over time, and I also added a turbulent displace to it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these and re-import them, and we'll start from scratch. So what you're going to want to do first and foremost is import the file. So if we just go to File, Import, and File. What we can do then is locate the Adobe Illustrator file called Balloon, which is available in the description for you guys to download. So let's just wait for the dialog window to open. So let's just scroll down to the Balloon Illustrator file and make sure we import as a composition and then just click Import. What will happen then is you'll get a composition just on the left, double click, and what you'll see is a composition with 2 Adobe Illustrator files in. One of them is called Balloon, one of them is called Background. My composition is 8 seconds long, so that's what I'm working with today. If yours is different, what you can do is go up to Composition Settings and change the duration, and my frames per second is 25 frames per second. So let's dive on in. First of all, I'm going to add an effect to this balloon. That effect is going to be called Turbulent Displace. So I've just gone to my Effects and Presets window and I've typed in Turbulent up there. If you can't find your Effects and Presets window, just go to Window and make sure it's ticked. So I'm going to click Turbulent Displace and drag it onto my balloon layer. You'll then see we've got this little displacement. So I'm going to go to the evolution and I can either keyframe animate it, but I know I can add a quick expression to animate this over time. So if you alt click, or first of all, if you click the stopwatch and move to the end and just increase this number quite a lot, you can get hit U on the keyboard to see the keyframes, you can get a keyframe animation. But to be honest, I don't like that way of working in this instance. I'm going to undo that and I'm going to use an expression. So if I alt click on the evolution stopwatch or option click on a Mac, I'm able to type in a little expression and I'm going to go time times 1000. So it'll take the frames per second and times that by 1000. So if it's 1 frames per second and so on. So as I go through, you'll see that it now animates a lot quicker and it's just through using that expression. So there we go, it's kind of got that turbulence in it. So that's the first thing, that's animating our effect. Next thing I want to do, select the layer and I want to get the pen tool up here and I want to draw out a path for this. Actually, before we do that, let's just click our layer and make sure that our anchor point, so get the anchor point tool, is just at this anchor point is just in the center of the tip of the balloon right here. Now let's get the pen tool with the balloon layer selected and I'm simply going to click and then click and drag just to make a sort of curvy path that I want this balloon to follow. So something along the lines of this, and this is basically we're drawing out that path that we want to follow for this animation. So if we come around like so, and I'm going to end back up here, so just a kind of weird figure of 8. Now what I want to do is I want to click the balloon layer, hit M on my keyboard, and I've got the mask up here. What I want to do is click on mask path, hit Control or Command C. Now that's copied to my clipboard. If I hit P with this layer selected to go to the position, make sure you click the word position, not the keyframe. Click the word and go Control or Command V. And what you'll notice is we've now got all these keyframes, and basically it's copied that path to the position, okay? So I want to delete my mask off the layer now, so let's just click the layer, hit M, click the mask and delete. Okay, so all we've got left is this motion path which our balloon travels along, which is great. So if we hit P for position, you can see we've got all of these keyframes, and it's generated these keyframes across 2 seconds, okay? So if we want this to be quicker, what we can do is highlight all of our keyframes, hold in the Alt key, click the last one, and we can squish them closer together. So you've got to make sure you're holding the Alt, or on a Mac, the Option key. So now if we put it to 1 second, you'll see this animation happens really fast. If we, again, select them all, hold Alt and click and drag the last one, if it's 5 seconds, it'll take 5 seconds for this whole animation to play through. So you'll see it's a lot slower. Now I think, realistically, we're probably looking at about just over 2 seconds for this. So that's probably as fast as a balloon, or maybe it could go a little bit faster, but that's basically what we're going to work with. So the next thing we want to animate, guys, is the scale. So I want to see my positional keyframes as I see the scale ones. So if I just hit S on my keyboard for the scale, you'll see we can't see the position ones anymore. So if I hit P, I can see the position ones. Now to see both of them, if I hit Shift and S, we've also got the scale there. So at 0 seconds, I'm going to click the stopwatch for 100% scale, and I'm going to move forward to the end, and I'm going to bring this down to about 15%, so it's quite small there. So it'll get smaller as time goes by. I now want to animate the rotation. So if I hit Shift and R, I can see the rotation as well as these others. If I'd only clicked R, I wouldn't be able to see it. So just R gives us that in its own, but I want to see the position, scale, and rotation. So hit P, then Shift, hit S, and with Shift selected again, hit R, and I can see them all. So I'm going to click and create a keyframe for my rotation. I'm going to scroll forward until, yeah, it's turned by here. So I want to then click and drag this rotation so it's now pointing in the correct direction. So you'll see as we come around this curve, that's what's happening. It's animating the rotation as well. So I'll just come forward a few frames and just modify this so it's pointing in the direction of the path. And basically we want to keep on doing this. Okay, so make sure it's pointing down around that corner. Sometimes what I do is I look at the position keyframes and I jump to the next position one, and I then just animate it there. But you may want to go back and just make sure, yeah, I'm just going to line this up a little bit better, like so. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want to work through this animation and just make sure that we've got something that's working. Okay, so I'm going to pause mine as I fill in the rest of the rotation keyframes. Okay, so now that I've got mine done, let's give it a play through. And you'll see that we've now got this sort of balloon animation deflating, which is great. The last thing we can do is add motion blur to this. So you'll see I've got this little motion blur icon by here, a circle with some trails behind it. If I click that, I've enabled it for the composition, and I now want to enable it for this balloon layer. So I'm just going to click, again, there's that icon, I'm going to click this box, and what you'll notice is we've got a little motion blur here as it travels round, which is what would happen in real life. So if we now click play, you'll see that we've got this animation following our own little path, and we've now got some, some motion blur in it. So I really hope that tutorial helped you. Make sure you download the project files for this from the description, and I look forward to seeing you in some future videos.